Hello everyone, welcome to Indian Economy by Monsoni. Today's news are we'll discuss the important articles related to economy from the Hindu newspaper. In page 1, we have a concept related to GST here. We don't need to go through this news, but there is a concept related to GST. We'll look into it. What is inverted duty structure? Generally, whenever the sale happens in GST, say from a manufacturer to the wholesaler, GST would be charged on the goods at certain percentage, and again on the value addition from the wholesaler to retailer, then the retailer to customer. On the amount of value addition, the GST would be charged. But sometimes it might happen that the GST on the inputs is more than the GST on the final out. At that time, the government would have to refund the person because they have collected more GST. This is called inverted duty structure. Let's take an example. For example, on textiles, on the raw material inputs that a textile mill gets, the GST is charged at 18%. Say this textile mill gets 100 rupees worth of raw materials at 18%. So the GST would be 18 rupees. The textile mill would have deposited the GST to the government. But on textiles which are less than the textiles with which the sale price is less than 1000 rupees, the GST is just 5%. So when the textile mill produces a shirt and sells it to the wholesaler, they will just charge 5% on the sale price. So if the shirt is being sold for 120 rupees, and 120 rupees at 5% would be just 6 rupees. So here you can see that the textile mill is paying a GST of 18 rupees on the inputs, but the GST on the final output would be just 6 rupees. This is because of the rate mismatches. This case is known as inverted duty structure, where more GST is paid to the government than what we are finally supposed to pay. In this case, the government would give back the difference amount of 12 rupees to the textile manufacturer. That is called the input credit. But the problem here is, here we are looking at 100 rupees. Imagine a transaction where crores of rupees is being dealt. So lot of amount is being struck with the government in the form of tax. If the textile mill had the same amount with itself, the working capital of the textile mill would have increased. They would have used it for producing more shirts and their business would have been better. The cost of borrowing for that particular company would have been lesser because they have more funds in hand. So because of which they are asking the government for reforms, so that this problem of inverted duty structure and finally the government giving back the input credit won't happen. In the editorial page, this article is related to corporate governance. This is not that much important for prelims, but it is important for mains corporate governance, and it can also be useful in ethics case studies and answers related to corporate governance. In yesterday's news hour, we have discussed about the issue that happened at NSE, wherein the former CEO and MD of NSE, that person, she had appointed another individual without the proper due process and given him high salaries, and she was also revealing the confidential information to a so-called spiritual sadhu. And till now, the SEBI is not able to make out who that person is. So the investigation is currently going on. And this article talks about corporate governance in companies and what is the role and responsibilities of directors of a company. So the author says sharing confidential information is biggest lapse, and also the CEO and MD appointed an individual without following the due process and made him the group operating officer. And this was made sure by not making that individual as not a key managerial person, so that he is kept out of regulation of the board. And this is clearly a case of managerial misconduct, and possibly it could also have financial costs, because even earlier the NSE had given preferential access to certain brokers about the market information so that they could get benefited. Few of the people at the NSE and the brokers, they had colluded together and they were passing on the information. And we need to have checks and balances. Who is supposed to check all this? It is the duty of board of directors. Just like we have legislators who are elected by the people to represent them, the parliament, all the shareholders can't manage a company. So for that, they would elect the board of directors who are responsible for the stakeholders, for the corporate governance and managing the company according to the articles of association. Articles of association are nothing but rules about how the company should be managed and what are the procedures that should be followed. But in this case, the author says the board of directors which is supposed to manage this issue, they failed, because when the board of directors were informed about the mismanagement, they didn't take any action. The board just allowed the CEO to resign and take a good package. Instead, they should have taken action against the CEO. And even the SEBI has certain public interest directors who are kept on the board, who are supposed to inform SEBI about the failings of NSE. Even those public interest directors remained silent. And the problem for this is, in the corporate world, too much importance is given for performance. If you perform well, if you are doing your job well, even if you commit small mistakes, it would be not that serious according to the board. The author says this is exactly the mistake, because here this is not the case of a private company. NSE is a public company wherein it affects the finance of so many people. It is a market infrastructure institution. The financial repercussions are on the entire economy, and this is not how the NSE is supposed to be managed. The NSE was making good profits, so the board would have thought that a small degree of nepotism in appointing that certain individual and giving him perks even when he didn't deserve that could do no wrong. But that is the exact reason because of which the crucial confidential information was been leaking from the NSE. And the author says this problem is structural, because it is not that the board of members are not very qualified. In fact, they are very highly qualified. But why didn't they report? They were supposed to speak about this and report it to the SEBI. They were supposed to take action, but they all remained silent. They didn't take any penal action against the MD and CEO. The author says probably because these board of directors are chosen from a group of highly qualified people. That group is a closed group where each would be known to the other person. So if any one person takes an action against the management, that person would be singled out, and in such closed groups, the news would spread faster to other people that this particular person is a troublemaker, so that he won't be taken on to any other boards of the other companies. So that particular person would lose on so many opportunities. because of which they would remain silent. And another problem being, the board of the directors are most of the times selected by the top management. If they are selected by the top management, there will be a conflict of interest that the board of directors won't take decisions which are against the wishes of top management, because their perks and salaries, the additional benefits that they derive from the company, would be dependent in the hands of the management. So the board of directors would be willing to take those decisions which make the management happy. Even though under the company's law, the companies have to have independent directors, certain number of women directors, and the board of directors are selected under the annual general meeting. Annual general meeting is when the all the shareholders go for a meeting, and the main decisions of the company would be taken based on vote. But it generally happens that whoever the management prefers as the board of directors and whoever they nominate, the shareholders would elect those people, because the shareholders think that the management knows better as to who is good for the board, so they would support the management most of the times. And the promoters would have the most stake compared to the minority shareholders, and their vote will have more weightage. So whoever the promoters want and whoever has the majority stake in the company, the people selected by them would be the board of directors, because of which there is a conflict of interest. So for this we need certain reforms. And what are these reforms? We need to get diversity in the selection of board of directors. The top management should not be allowed to choose more than 50% of the independent directors. If the independent directors are chosen by other stakeholders like financial institutions, banks, small shareholders, the independent director would be responsible to protect the interest of those people who appointed them, that is the other stakeholders. In such times, those independent directors would act on take issues even which are not that beneficial to the top management, because they are appointed by different stakeholders. And the other thing that needs to happen is, currently, if any director involves in any financial scam, the board of directors would punish them. It would be reported to the police and action would be taken. But the entire board should be knowing that if something is happening in your company, should be knowing that. So who will hold the board of directors accountable for lapses? In this particular case, only the vice chairman was singled out and he was made responsible. But he said, the entire board is responsible. Why are you just pointing towards me? And the author also says that, why didn't SEBI take strict actions till now? Even the independent audit has to take place of the regulator. Once in a while, a group of eminent people have to regulate even the regulators, so that the reputation of the regulators would stay intact and the regulators also do their job correctly. Even the regulators like SEBI have to be evaluated based on their given mandate and objectives. It is vital to guard the guardians, because in this case SEBI should have taken more action before itself. Why didn't it do that? Why didn't it try to trace that who is that anonymous person? That is why it is the need for a periodic audit of even the regulators. That's about this article. We can skip this because it basically discusses about the low allocation for MG Narega budget and that affecting the rural consumption demand, etc., which we have already discussed in USAR. We don't need to go into the calculations and details of it. And in the news page, you can skip the news if you already know the issue. You don't need to go into the too much details of the issue. Just know the basics of the issue and move forward. You can skip this news. It just talks about how banks should be willing to give more to the willing to give loans more to the weaker section and vulnerable sections. Here the government is saying that they have not taken any stand against the blockchain technology related to the cryptocurrency as of now, but the companies are free to use the blockchain technology in other aspects of the business. For example, the same blockchain technology can be used in land records, in maintaining health records, in supply chain management. So the government is saying that you are free to do whatever you want other than with the cryptocurrencies, for which the rules would be bought in the future. And all this news related to the individual companies can be skipped. We have discussed the concepts related to the LIC IPO, so you can skip the news. No need to read the news related to Airtel. Thank you so much.